Hi everyone, Pam Gregory, astrologer. I wanted to speak with you briefly about a co-creation opportunity that isn't directly related to the astrology. It's more related to energy and frequency. And many people refer to us as powerful co-creators. You may think of yourself as that, and we absolutely are. In fact, we're co-creating in every second. We've done that all of our lives. It's just most of the time we're doing it by default because we're rolling around on automatic pilot in our mind, and we're not aware of the frequency we're broadcasting and don't make the link with what we're creating. So just in this very short video, I wanted to try and help us with that, because there's a couple of phrases that really speak to this, which is you get more of what you think about all day long, or the universe is just a mirror, or a mirrorverse, as someone referred to it recently, which I think is very true. That it really is the case that if you think of yourself as a radio dial or radio station, imagine that we have a radio dial at our solar plexus, and every day we are constantly choosing which channel to tune into. So we can either tune into hard rock, and then we can only ever hear the hard rock music. We can't hear classical music on that. Or we can tune into the classical channel, and we can only hear classical music on that. We can't hear hard rock. So we self-select our reality, the bounce back, if you like, from what we are emanating in our frequency out to the world. I think that's a useful analogy to keep in mind. And all of us all the time are creating from ether. We are creating from plasma, from nothing, apparently. And that's why I think it's very hard for us to get our heads around. But I think the beautiful work recently of Veda Austin, if you haven't seen that interview, I'll put a link below, and also the interview that Heather Ensworth more recently has done with Veda. Her work is extraordinary, but one of the big things about it is helping us understand how our thoughts, our emotions, our frequency are creating particular crystallography in the water. It isn't random. It's very specific. So Veda's work is showing us the interim stage, if you like, of what is actually happening in the invisible plasma that we are creating as geometry. We're creating an energetic architecture in the plasma that then bounces back to us as a manifestation, as a reality. And Veda's work gives us a very clear indication of how that's working. And I think her work is really going to help us understand the process of this and the consciousness of what's unfolding. So therefore, if a lot of people think there's going to be a really big scary thing coming down the road, they will focus in fear on that really big scary thing. And even if that really big scary thing, whatever it is, has absolutely no basis in reality, they will create it. We can create whatever we can imagine, we can create. That's kind of a law of the universe. Whatever we can imagine, we can create. And so if enough of us believe that, yes, absolutely, we will create a very scary reality from nothing, from ether, from plasma. And the more we sort of feed into that with those same fearful emotions, the more that reality will become very evident. We'll have lots of examples of, well, look at this and look at this and look at this, and it becomes a very solid truth, apparently. But equally, we can do that with a wonderful reality, just the same process, just a different emotion. And so I've often said in my videos, starve out the scary and love in the good. And that's exactly what I mean by that phrase, starve out the scary, love in the good. So what I'd like to suggest in this video, that because many of you watching my astrology videos are broadly on the same frequency, we are forming, if you like, a family of frequency. I love to think of us as a family of frequency all over the world, speaking different languages, different geographies, doesn't matter. We are coming together to share and get involved in the astrology videos. But of course, they aren't just about astrology. It's actually an energy exchange taking place, and I'm well aware of that. So what I'd like to suggest is that every week, ongoing, at 7 p.m., 1900 hours, 7 p.m., Sunday evenings, UK time, that we come together, as many of you would want to do this, or are available to do this, we come together for 15 minutes. That's all. We come together for 15 minutes to help to accelerate, magnetize more rapidly a more beautiful and more loving world. And the only real rules, let's say, they're not really rules, but they're principles involved in this, is that we base our vision on love, joy, gratitude, appreciation, peace, and compassion. That range of emotions, which are incredibly positive. And so we can actually imagine and create anything we like based on those emotions. So, because what we do when we imagine, when we envisage a different scenario, and particularly when we come together collectively, our collective energy isn't simply additive, it's multiplied, it's magnified. And wonderful physicist Nassim Haramein referred to this on social media a while ago. So we become a very powerful group of frequency workers, if you like. So what I'm going to do in the next few minutes is just outline some thoughts of how we might begin to imagine this new Earth. And by the way, new Earth, the frequency, the consciousness of new Earth is already here. It's already here as a light grid across the Earth. And the more we focus on what we want to put on it as bricks and mortar, the stronger the foundations get, the stronger the walls get, the stronger the roofs get, and we start to build something really solid in that paradigm of truth, that higher timeline, which we are on. So let us imagine that you take a few deep breaths at the beginning of this 15-minute process, just a few deep breaths, and let the out breath be longer than the in breath. And with each breath, the out breath becomes a little longer. And you might even pause briefly for a few seconds at the end of the out breath, because that's where the magic really happens, in that void. That's really where we create from. But gradually you'll feel your energy slowly decompressing, dropping, butter melting in the sun, becoming super relaxed. So imagine nature, first of all, that you're seeing nature as absolutely abundant everywhere. The colors are incredible. In fact, they're like colors you've never even seen before. They're hard to describe. It's like colors have been, the light has been turned up. They're kind of sizzling with translucent color. It's like they've got lights behind them. And there's life force everywhere. And you might think to yourself, gosh, everywhere I look, nature is thriving. Everywhere I look, nature is bountiful. Nature is beautiful. That's what I say to myself every morning on my walks in nature. Nature is thriving, nature is abundant, nature is beautiful. So just see all that life force as being palpable. It feels electric. It's like those times in spring when you get the lime green leaves and you can almost feel them being pushed out of the tree. There's such a force of nature. So everything is alive in this scene. The trees, the plants, the birds, the animals. And you can sense them all start to speak to you. You can tune in a way you've never tuned in before. That each tree, each plant, each animal, each bird has a very specific and unique essence. And if you're quiet and you listen, you can hear them talking to you. Very gifted people can, very sensitive people can do this already. It's second nature to them, but it's going to become much more widespread for us, this psychic sensitivity, where we really see ourselves not as separate from nature, but as part of the flow, part of the whole flow of the oneness of life. Nature, the earth, its cycles, day and night, winter, summer, life and death, recycling, but full of life force. And you might walk down to a crystal clear stream, almost as if you were a child again. And just hovering above the stream, you see butterflies and dragonflies that catch their colors in the sunlight, because it's a bright blue sky, deep blue sky, not a cloud. And it feels magical. You could almost imagine fairies and elves and elementals and little beings in trees, and it feels as if you're a child again in the middle of a fairy story. And as you watch the stream, you might even start to see patterns or images or geometries even in the stream, a little like Veda's crystallography. And you might just sit by the stream and become quite hypnotized for a while, quite mesmerized by the sound of the water, the bright blue sky, the dragonflies. You just lose a sense of time and space, and you just drop into the moment, that magical moment. And there seems to be an abundance of food everywhere. Because nature is thriving everywhere you look, there is food around, there, fruit on the trees, and maybe fruits you've never even seen before. And you can just pick some of those fruits, and they taste absolutely delicious. And you can barely describe the flavor because it's unlike anything you've experienced before. And at times you may see yourself as on your own in this landscape of abundant nature. But at other times you may see children laughing and playing and jumping. And the animals look incredibly cared for and healthy and strong. Every living being is cared for and respected. And the air seems to be sparkly diamond, angelic, maybe even different colors in the air. Air always looked invisible before, but maybe not so much now. It's got sparkles, it's got, wisps of pink and peach and blue, and it's alive. The air is alive as well, because it's full of divine intelligence, as we know. And we are constantly interconnected and interacting with that divine intelligence in every moment. So there's no sense of separation from nature, no sense of division, no sense of ever wanting to pillage or exploit. We're just flowing, and there's a lightness everywhere. We may see other beings much more as living in their light body, and we look down and we are equally in our light body. We're sort of translucent. And we see other humans as also energy fields that we can read much more easily. It would be very easy to spot any dishonesty, for instance, but we can read their energy field, so we can very easily know them from that energy field silently, and we can heal them if they need healing, because we can see an energy blockage and we just send love and it heals instantly, because we're in the quantum world here. Our diet is likely to be much lighter, more plant-based. There's less density around. Everything is just light, sparkly, and in flow. And there's also no sense of ownership here. There's no sense of fences or walls or borders or this is mine and not yours. Just like the indigenous people, there's no sense of ownership. You're just part of all that is, and you're helping to caretake and love all that is while you're on this earth in this incarnation. So remember that anything we can imagine, we can create. You are currently creating the energetic architecture for a more beautiful world. And of course, you can embellish this vision greatly, make it much richer, turn it into stories, as long as you stick to those principles of love, joy, gratitude, appreciation, peace, compassion. Stick to those emotions, we can really go on a journey with this. There are no rules apart from those emotions, those principles. And this is how we start to get a much greater sense of being co-creators and of our own sense of empowerment. And of course, you can do this many times in a week. You can do it just taking a few moments out and closing your eyes and sitting on your chair, your sofa at home, and doing this. You can do it with eyes open when you're taking a walk in nature, or you're having a shower, or you're preparing food. You can do it many times in the day. The more often you do it, the more powerful this whole vision becomes for us. But if we can come together collectively, 7 p.m. Sunday evenings UK time, collectively for just 15 minutes. And actually, if you're doing it on your own, it doesn't even have to be 15 minutes. It can be a few minutes, 5 minutes. And what I've shared are just my very simple initial suggestions for how we might begin with this. So there won't be any notifications, emails, bells, reminders, none of that, no recordings. I'm simply here in this short video to suggest this idea to you. And because we are all powerful co-creators, we don't need those reminders. We just put that in the diary every Sunday, whatever the correct time is for you. I'll put a time zone link below so you can get the correct time for you and your location, your geography. So you can link in with people all across the world, holding hands digitally, loving in a much more beautiful, caring, compassionate world. And this will really start to gather momentum. And we will build that reality quickly, much more solidly, and that will become our paradigm and our truth. It's already happening. I'm just suggesting ways that we can accelerate this. So this is how it works in the quantum world. You know, in the 3D world, we have to write a business plan, see the bank manager, get a loan. It's all very logical and linear, but it doesn't work like that in the quantum world. We imagine, we set a clear intention that we are already lovingly bringing in this new earth, and we just focus on it energetically, emotionally, and it manifests. It's already manifesting. We're just accelerating it. So I hope you feel that that's a good idea for you, and really want to send all my love and my blessings, because this time is huge for our earth. And it's so much bigger, I think, than we think it is. We we just think it's about our 3D reality and the shifts there, but it's actually way bigger. We're going through this massive shift in the ages, the end of Kali Yoga, the beginning of another huge age. And the most important thing is we're stepping back into our galactic citizenry. We're remembering our galactic heritage. We're stepping beyond the Earth. We're very grateful to the Earth as a key part of that, but we are helping Earth ascend again back to her rightful place within the galaxy. And that is a thrilling, unique, and very exciting journey that we're on. God bless. I hope this helps in some small way, and speak again soon in another astrology video next time. Bye for now.